Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting in the Lion's Den. I'm She. Today we are going to look at using alcohol inks on Jesmonite. So for all the techniques that I show you each week, and well, a couple of times a week, whatever it is, for all the techniques that I show you that I've been using for Jesmonite at least, I haven't seen them done before, which is why I want to show you. If you have seen them before, please tag whoever did the first one of that so they can get credit for it. The same with any of my other videos. I've always said if it's my original idea or not, I like to give credit where credit's due to the people who came up with it, as I'd expect the same, because it's just nice, isn't it? We want to keep the art community supporting each other. We can't just claim things and, it's not nice, is it? Today we are going to Phoenix.
Just looking, I think the elephants were going well, but I can have a closer look.
Phoenix, Mummy was filming, I told you. Okay, so where was I? Alcohol ink and Jesmonite. So I've seen alcohol ink being mixed with the Jesmonite to give it a colour, but I haven't seen this watercolour almost alcohol ink thing technique done on the Jesmonite itself. So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to be making these little beauties. I'm going to show you. Yeah, so you've got your Jesmonite, and then we used alcohol inks to create those effects on them, and it's really quite beautiful actually. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, so this is one of my little experiments, and we'll see how it goes. As always, please like, comment or dislike if you don't like it, subscribe, share, and let me know. I love hearing from you. Okay, bye. Okay, so first off, we're going to mix up our Jesmonite and pour in to whatever mould it is that you want. I've chosen this little pot mould, and you're going to pour it in. Don't forget your tap, 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 tap. Let's get those air bubbles to the surface. That is the reason we tap, tap. It's so that we can get the air, encourage the air rather, to travel up to the surface rather than creating a big fat crater inside or on the edges of the pots, because that's so annoying. And I just like to give it a bit of a squish as well, especially with the body moulds. It's good to give them a squish. And I'm also going to do a little shell one as well, because I had leftover Jesmonite. With this one, it can be tricky because you see it just sits there. So I like to push the middle and then encourage the Jesmonite to sort of trickle away down to the edges. So this one before, when I first started casting this mould, it always had bits missing from the edges, and I figured out it was just because I wasn't getting the Jesmonite all the way down and I was letting it sit with air bubbles in there. So this way, where I push the mould down and let it travel down, it does get it all in there properly. A tip for this mould is waiting a little bit longer to demould, because when you're demoulding the Jesmonite after 20 minutes, half hour, when it does seem that it's ready, it can be still a little bit brittle, so it will break. So I like to leave these for a lot longer and then I'll demould them. Okay, so then you demould whatever it is that you've made. There's my little pot coming out. I'm always so nervous. I think I'm going to break it. So I'm just like, oh no, doing my silent prayers going, don't break, please, please, please don't break. There we go. Again, because of this technique, it doesn't matter massively. And I knew that I was going to try and cover the pot. So I thought I won't be trying to make any patterns. I'm just doing one colour and then see what I can do with the alcohol inks. So there's a shell coming out. There we go. You can see the mould itself was a bit dirty and I left it in. So I'm using these inks. You can see they're well used. Oh dear. And some 99% isopropyl alcohol. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. The first way I tried was spraying the pot itself with the alcohol. and then add in the colour. So, whoop, just letting it go there. You can also do this by adding the colour first and then spraying it, or you could mix the colour with the alcohol and then just to dilute it a bit and then put it on there or brush it on. I thought I'd give this a go because I wanted to try and create some lines and then make it sort of flow out like you know, water, almost like watercolours, but hasn't really worked, has it? Like, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is looking horrible. Don't like it. So I just thought, okay, let's try it out and see what it looks like. You can see here, it's just a big mess. It's dribbled down and it's just made a mess. There we go. Okay, I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking, I really don't like this. So I'm now spraying it with alcohol to make it sort of mush again. That's the good thing about alcohol inks. They are really, really usable in terms of when you do make mistakes like this, you can just sort of start again. So here I've sprayed it with alcohol and then wiping it with a baby wipe just to try and get off any excess ink. So now it's back down to the bone. There is a stain there as expected because you've just stained it with alcohol ink. So we'll try it again. This time I'm putting the ink on without a big covering of alcohol, alcohol spray first. And then going straight away, instead of doing the colours one by one and then adding the blowy bit, just going straight in. So that is a heat gun that I'm using. You'd seen it in a previous video for the embossing. Use it for many things. It's very, very handy. So I have seen people using alcohol inks and they're blowing it with a straw. So if you're doing this maybe outside, possibly it's okay. But like exposure to alcohol inks isn't great. They are quite potent. So it is advised that you wear a respirator or do it in a very, very well ventilated area. That's why I'm just using a heat gun to blow it. And it also dries it quickly, so you get to see what the effect looks like straight away. See how I've just sort of reactivated the ink there by spraying it with the alcohol. And then I can create those lovely watercolour waves that I was after. That's a much better way than the first one, isn't it? First one just looked a mess. Oh, goodness. There, just spraying it, reactivating it. Because with each time you reactivate it, it still leaves that sort of like mark from where it was before and then creates a new one. It's really lovely. Just keep going. So I'm happy with one side of that. I do like it. So I'm going to add in the gold. That I wanted just to be a highlight. There we go. And the gold sort of, it doesn't sink in like the other colours. It just sort of sits on the top. So spraying it again with alcohol to try and move it up. So I don't want it in those really, really defined lines. I do want it spread out like with a gold sheen over here and there. There we go. Again, you could just keep playing with this until it gets to what you like. So I decided I don't like how gold that is. I'm going to cover it again with some more colour. If you notice, I didn't actually spray any alcohol there. I just dropped it on as it was. And there is method behind the madness. Because now I'm going to add the alcohol and let it mush in with the other colours. Look at that. Beautiful. There we go. And I'm really liking how that's looking. It's got those waves, the watercolour style that I was after. So I'm just, again, reactivating those inks on that side because there's still some pink of the pot showing. And ideally, I wanted to cover it all. So it needed a little bit more ink on there. Adding a bit more colour. Oh, I nearly went for the gold there. Then I realised that's probably not a good idea because I've already got lots on there. Let's spray it and spread it. Look how much that just spreads out beautifully. If you do it first, put the ink on first and then spray it with the alcohol. It gives us such a different effect to when you spray the alcohol first and then put the ink on. Oh, nearly dropped the pot there. Okay, and I think I was pretty much happy with that, liking how it looks. The purple to the aqua and turquoisey blues with the gold hints in there. I really like that. Yep, so I'll put that to the side. Okay, onto the shell then. So with the shell, I've just given it a light spray with the alcohol. And then I'm starting at the bottom. What I want to do is sort of create that waves on the beach effect. That's what I'm going for. So I'm adding drops of colour in. And then my plan is to try and manipulate the way the alcohol dries when you reactivate and when you spray it again, sort of thing, and move it around. So I'm doing my first sort of wave. So imagine that coming up onto the beach, and I'm letting it all sink back down again with a little help, and then wave again, making the wave push up again. See, so with each time it goes up, it does leave like a little trace behind it. So it's like when you look at the sand after the sea keeps coming in and out, you get all those different lines. That's what I was aiming for with this. And don't worry about the edges because we will cover that. If you want them covered in ink, then fair enough, go for it. But I wanted them to be plain still. So there we go. Happy with how that looks. So now to deal with those edges, I'm just got some sandpaper and I'm lightly sanding the pot so that the edges will become nice and clear and there won't be any more ink left on them. I have speeded this up. I haven't just got super hands that are like, no, it's just sped up. And then just doing the inside of the pot. Next up is the shell. I want all the edge of the shell to be nice and pink. So sanding that down. There we go. And there we go, having it. Looks good. Now, what do they look like fully? And look at that. Oh, I love it. It's like a magical ocean land. Just stick a mermaid on there or something. Or a magical fish. And look at the shell. Slightly different technique because it's face down. But still, I really love that. Anyway, I hope you've liked this video and you find it helpful. If you do find it helpful, don't forget to tag me. See you next time. Bye.